Hey everyone, Jon Michael Hoefling here at the Vanderbilt Center with Northern Michigan volleyball superstar sophomore Haley Wickstrom. Take me through the Keweenaw Classic. You really stepped into a superstar role on this team. How did that feel?
It was really awesome. Going from last year, I just got to play in a couple of sets. I think it gave me the opportunity to kind of get the nerves out and just like see what it's like to play. But now this year, I know that it's like my role for the taking. I need to step up.
So what are your goals for the entire season as a whole?
I mean, I want to win. So in reality, I just want, I don't care about the stats. I just want to do whatever will make my team successful, whether that means I'm pulling the block so someone else can get a kill or something like that. I'm just more worried about making it a good season.
Right. So what are the expectations for the team?
This season, I'm really excited because, last year we kind of got in a bit of a rut and stuff, but this year everyone's on the same page. We all have the same goals and we're working hard to get better. As long as we keep on going up, we should be unstoppable.
Perfect. So we are about to see how unstoppable you are because you're about to face one of the best athletes in the Upper Peninsula, myself. So the rules of the game are as follows. We are standing on one side of the court, and if you can't tell, we have sectioned it off into 9 segments. This looks a lot like, what, Haley, a tic-tac-toe board?
Looks like it's me.
It's going to be a bump over, a set over, a spike over, a serve over, and if still the board has not found a tic-tac-toe, I just get to throw it over. Best 2 out of 3, and I'm probably going to make a huge fool out of myself.
I have green for NMU.
And I have pink, because that's me. In order to help us out, we are bringing on NMU assistant coach Kristen Pickett. And Kristen, looking at me right now, how confident are you that Haley is going to defeat me?
She will most definitely win.
Okay, thank you for the boost. I needed that. So I'm going first. Lay it in like a baby dove. Bring the wings together. Middle square. How you like them apples? Was that on purpose?
I want it in this area somewhere, so yeah.
This is where things could get spicy. How did that look, Tyree? Watch and win.
Let's see it.
It looked good until I hit it, right?
Oh no.
Watch this. I hate everything. Please don't talk to me.
Doing pretty good. Got 1 W, so see you go more.
She doesn't know I have a secret weapon. Pity. Oh my God. Hey, I still got one. So she has a chance to win, but she would have to hit it really close to the net. Look at her. She's in athletic wear. I'm in khakis. I could not do it once again. My quest to defeat an athlete with their own game continues to be aloof to me. I don't think I used that right, but you know what I meant. I'm Jon Michael Hoefling with Haley Wickstrom. Thank you for joining me, and join us next week for our next Thursday throw-in, where hopefully I can do my family some justice. But probably not.
I'm really excited for the NFL season to start. So excited that over the weekend, I watched a ton of videos regarding predictions, projections, and rankings. However, one specific video caught my attention. This clip from Fantasy Sports Radio on Twitter.
I've said that this guy's just sort of a mediocre talent in real life, but a great fantasy receiver.
Excuse me? Did he just call Devontae Adams
mediocre?
The audacity! Well, since I'm a sports nut without any plans on my weekends, I looked into this. Turns out this expert feels this way because of pretty much one stat: yards per target. Well, pay me purple and slap me sideways. I guess Tyler Lockett is the best receiver in the NFL. I guess Will Fuller is more effective than Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. Oh, geez, how could I be so blind? Oh, this really puts Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson in perspective, huh? Their career yards per target weren't even that far ahead of Adams' 2018 mark. And they're behind the mark set by DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, and Sammy Watkins last season. I guess those 2 legends weren't very effective after all. I hope you can hear the sarcasm in my voice. There are a lot of factors that go into this stat. What if the receiver in question didn't get a lot of good passes thrown his way? What if he didn't run a lot of deep routes? Those are great questions. Let's answer them. Well, in 2018, according to PlayerProfile.com, only 75% of passes thrown Adams' way were even deemed catchable, good for 67th in the NFL. Meanwhile, Adams' average depth of target was only 11.7 yards, 51st in the league. Not to mention that Adams has made his name in the red zone. He scores touchdowns. A lot of them. Over the last 3 years, Adams is second in the NFL in touchdowns, behind only Antonio Brown. And 26 of those touchdowns have come in the red zone, which is the most in the league in that span. Oh, and by the way, the end zone also limits a player's yards, since, there isn't much field left after the goal line. So players with a lot of touchdowns tend to have lower yards per target numbers, which might explain why that guy I just mentioned, Antonio Brown, had a lower yards per target than Adams, while guys like Julio Jones, Mike Evans, and T.Y. Hilton tend to be near the top of the league in that category, at the same time, scoring far less often. Conclusion: no, Davante Adams is not
mediocre.
Rather, he's an elite receiver that undoubtedly belongs in everyone's top 5, including you, Tanner. He's the only player in the NFL to record at least 70 receptions and 10 touchdowns each of the last 3 seasons. And I didn't even mention how he continued to put up Pro Bowl caliber numbers with Brett Hundley at quarterback. Give Davante Adams the respect he deserves. He's one of the best receivers in the game. No more questions, I rest my case. For ABC 10 and the CW5, I'm Jon Michael Hoefling. The 4th of July has come and gone, and that can only mean one thing. The MLB All-Star Game is coming up. But before the teams take the field, a lot of balls have to leave the field in the Home Run Derby. However, there's been a myth floating around that participation in the annual Mash Fest ruins a player's swing for the rest of that season. In a 2017 survey by TheTilt.com, a little more than 50% of people believe that the Derby does in fact ruin each participant's second half power production. Several Brewers fans didn't want Yelich to participate in the Big Fly Bonanza, prompting this response from the reigning National League MVP.
No, I'm not going to drive myself crazy at all because I know it's batting practice. It's fine. It's going to be fun. It's going to have a good time. The people who are driving themselves crazy are people that just are worried that it ruins swings or that.
However, none of that would matter, as Christian Yelich would remove himself from the Home Run Derby because of a back injury. Brewers fans do have a little bit of a right to be concerned, though, after what happened to Jesus Aguilar last season. But even with Aguilar's drop in production last year, the theory still isn't proven yet. So, let's make like Adam and Jamie, head back to the lab and try to bust this myth. Right here, right now. Does the Derby ruin production? Well, the obvious first step is to take a look at the difference in power numbers for each participant before and after competing in the Derby. Since 2010, there have been 74 Derby contestants. 2 of them didn't play in the second half of those seasons due to injury, so let's just discard them. Now, let's take a look at the remaining 72 players and their home runs per game numbers prior to the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. Of those 72 players, only 19 have had equal or better home run production in the second half than the first. Yep, only 26.4% of all Derby participants have had better home run production after competing in the Home Run Derby. Uh-oh, that's a point for the Derby detractors. But maybe all power hitters experience this kind of production drop-off after the All-Star break. That's possible. But of the 30 players with the most home runs in Major League Baseball this decade, 14 have never partaken in a home run derby. And of those 14, 10 of them have actually had better power production post-All-Star break over their careers. That's another one. Point anti-derby. Alright, well, maybe those guys are just second-half players. But during a full 162-game season, there's gotta be some sort of fatigue that sets in, right? Actually, no. From 2010 to 2015, each team would hit about .77 home runs per game in the first half. And after the All-Star break, that number only dropped to .76. So yes, there's a small difference, but that doesn't explain the vast drop-offs that some Derby participants have had. As always, correlation does not equal causation. But a correlation this strong, even if it's just over a 9-year period, shouldn't be discarded. The numbers say that the Derby might, in fact, mess up your swing for the rest of the season. So in the end, maybe it was a good thing that Yelich decided to back out. I still would have liked to have seen him do it though. Would have been bonkers. Here's to hoping his back injury doesn't mess up the rest of his season. For ABC 10 and CW5, I'm Jon Michael Hoefling.
Since I'm feeling refreshed, young, and invincible, I'm going to talk about my most divisive topic from around here yet. Please don't hate me for this. Enjoy.
Oh boy. You know, I thought this Monday Minute was going to be about the Bucks facing off against the Warriors in the NBA Finals. That didn't happen though, and I'm not ready to talk about it. So instead, I've decided to talk about something everybody loves. Aaron Rodgers. And totally ruin him. Ever since I lived in Minnesota a year ago, I've heard Packer fans call Rodgers everything from the greatest QB who ever lived to the only good part of Season 8 of Game of Thrones. To be fair, I agree with that last one. That season sucked. But Rodgers isn't all that. He barely chugs beer better than I do. That doesn't matter though. What does matter is his lack of playoff success. In his 8 career trips to the postseason, Rodgers and the Pack have only won more than one game twice. And yes, one of those times the team went 4-0 and won the Super Bowl, but since then the Packers have gone 5-6 in the postseason. And Aaron Rodgers has only one fourth quarter comeback. Compare that to a guy like Tom Brady, who's had 9 in his career, and 7 since Rodgers became Green Bay's starter. In fact, here's all the guys currently in the league with as many or more postseason fourth quarter comebacks as Rodgers. 16. That's half the league. The fourth quarter isn't exactly the kindest to Rodgers, and that may come as a surprise to you. But in his career, Aaron Rodgers is 0-38 when going into the fourth quarter trailing by more than 1 point against teams with a winning record. He just doesn't have the comeback ability of, say, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, or, dare I say it, Matthew Stafford? Now, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. He's really, really, really talented. Probably the most talented quarterback in the league. I mean, for goodness sake, he's the only quarterback in the history of the NFL to reach 300 touchdowns before throwing 100 interceptions. But talent does not equal success or greatness. Rodgers is undoubtedly a phenomenal quarterback, and by the end of his career, he'll probably go down as one of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. But for now, let's cool it with the GOAT talk. Maybe with a new coach next year, he'll return to the big game and get one step closer to that claim. For ABC 10 and CW5, I'm Jon Michael Hoefling.